Most people only get married once. But in this city, one woman kept becoming a widow. Every husband she buried died under mysterious circumstances. And every funeral looked exactly the same. Detective Marcus Hale watched from the rain. He had seen her before. 3 funerals. 3 dead husbands. 1 woman in every photo. At the station, Hale pinned the evidence to the board. And suddenly, the pattern appeared. The first husband drowned on his private yacht. The ocean swallowed the truth. The second husband burned alive in his penthouse. The fire erased every clue. The third husband died during his birthday toast. A single poisoned glass of wine. And every time, the same woman stood beside the coffin. Elena Vale. Hale opened the files again. This wasn't coincidence. This was strategy. So he paid Elena a visit. She welcomed him like an old friend. Hale studied her face carefully. But Elena didn't look nervous. She simply smiled and poured him tea, like she had nothing to hide. But Hale discovered something strange about the husbands. None of them were innocent men. They were criminals, smugglers, money launderers. And they all had powerful friends in very dark places. Men who believed they were untouchable. Then Hale found the file that connected everything. A forgotten murder case. Victor Vale. A mechanic who had been killed 20 years earlier. Standing beside him in an old photo. A young girl. Elena. Victor had been shot inside his own garage. The killers were never caught. Elena had watched the police lights flash that night. And the case slowly disappear. The newspapers called it an unsolved mystery. But someone knew the truth. Years later, Elena returned to that empty garage. And made a promise. She would find the men responsible. One by one. Back in the present, Hale stared at the evidence board. And realized what she had done. Then a wedding invitation arrived on his desk. Elena Vale. Marrying Adrian Locke. Hale rushed through the city that night. Because Adrian Locke was not just a businessman. He was one of the most powerful crime financiers in the city. And one of the original suspects. Inside the wedding hall, Elena walked down the aisle. Beautiful. Calm. Unstoppable. Adrian Locke smiled proudly at the altar. He believed he was marrying a fortune hunter. The guests raised their champagne glasses, celebrating the new couple. Elena watched Adrian carefully as he drank. Waiting. Seconds later, Adrian began choking. His glass shattered on the floor. The wedding erupted into panic. But Elena remained perfectly calm. By the time Hale reached the altar, it was already over. Adrian Locke was dead. And the bride had vanished. On a nearby table, Hale found a letter addressed to him. Inside were 4 photographs. Each suspect connected to Victor Vale's murder. Each photo crossed out in red. But Hale noticed something terrifying. There had been 5 suspects. And somewhere in the city, Elena was preparing for one final wedding.